The purpose of cleanup is to maintain a clean art studio and reduce health hazards. Please write this on your worksheet now. If you're working with old clay, we'll just recycle it into the block of the old clay and be able to reuse that for future practice. When storing clay, it's super important to keep the clay moist by sealing the bag really well. Twist it tight, squeezing out as much air as you can, and secure it with a twist tie or by tucking it underneath the block. Be sure to write your first and last name as well as your class period. Scratch it into the bottom of your clay project with a nail. This makes sure that we know whose is whose. So you're working with the new clay and you want to keep working on your project, but it's the end of the class period. You need to put it in a Ziploc bag labeled with your first and last name as well as your class period. Make sure to seal it really well. Now, if you want your project to start drying out, you'll fold over the zipper part and just place it over the top of the bowl like a hat. That'll allow the clay to dry slowly without cracking. Be sure to store your project on the correct shelf by table color and period. Clear away any tools or materials still on your table before the next step. Clay dust is a health hazard. To reduce that risk, make sure you scrape any clay pieces from your table into your hand and then put those pieces into the trash. Also, be sure to pick up any pieces of clay on the floor. Those will get stepped on, turn into fine powder, which could make its way to our lungs. Fill up a bucket about halfway with water, making sure not to add any soap. Squeeze out the sponges into the bucket, making sure that you're not putting a ton of water on the table. If you make a lake, it's going to be a lot harder to clean up and it's going to get everywhere, making a bigger mess for you and your table mates to deal with. Once you've wiped up as much clay as possible with the sponges, you'll need to get a clean rag wet at the sink and then wipe down the table until there are no white streaks, so no clay residue remains on the table. Put any dirty or wet rags into the bookshelf. Don't put them back in the original bins. They'll get stinky and moldy if we leave them in there. Dump out the bucket slowly in the sink, squeeze out the sponges, put them in the rack, and then put the empty bucket underneath the clay materials table. Please wash your hands only after your table is completely clean. If you try and wash them before then, we'll send you back to clean your table.